We are live once again for a fantastic Cinevo Conversations. Today we are going to have a great guest with Brandon Thomas joining us. And thank you to all of our listening audience, either listening live on Clubhouse.
Mic check.
Brandon's mic is good.
Mic check. Alrighty.
Send out a few invites just in case anyone feels like jumping in. We got some listeners on our Discord channel as well. We've got a great guest today. I'm super excited to talk to Brandon Thomas about his journey from viral sensation to feature film director. First, of course, I do want to make sure that everyone in our listening audience knows all about our grant contest for 2023. This is a really great opportunity for any independent creator, any student creator. We really value our contribution to the independent filmmaker community. And to that end, we are doing $20,000 in grant applications across 5 projects. So one will be an $8,000 grand prize open to anyone. One will be a $3,000 grant for a student nonfiction project, a $3,000 grant for a professional nonfiction project, and then a $3,000 grant for a fiction project for student exclusive and for professional or student as well. So all in all, $20,000 in rental grants that we will be giving out, and we want to make sure that you are aware of the process. So you can visit our website at cinevo.com. There's a link directly on the homepage to get all the information about that, to send us your link to your short film. We're taking submissions between now and July 1st, and we will be announcing our finalists later on in the year with an open house to come around November. So stay tuned for more information on all of that. But right now, let's get to the man of the hour, Mr. Brandon Thomas. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm happy to be here.
So I guess yours and mine journey goes back a little bit before even now. We met at when I was working with a script consultancy team called Open Gate Entertainment, where we were looking out to reach new creators. But tell us about your journey even before that. Started with the 1 million views or 2 million views on a couple of major videos. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was a couple of videos that I did. So before I even got a chance to meet you and the team you was with back then, I've been doing a lot of viral videos. I was battle rapping everything, and that was kind of the funny premise. You know, battle rapping trees. I was battle rapping babies, and and people really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And it was getting some views, Before that, I did a music video with a friend of mine named Kyle Ferguson from the Bahamas, and we did a video. It was the Cups rap remix, and the director of Pitch Perfect saw it and did a remix to the Cup song, and the director, Elizabeth Banks, shared it. She liked it and loved it, and Cosmopolitan did a magazine. So before I started to say, you know what, I really want to do filmmaking and not just be kind of known as the guy who's battle rapping trees and Christmas gifts, and whatever I could get a hold on. I said, what I want to do, and found got with you guys and had a television show that I wanted to create and I wanted to do, and ever since then, I started to kind of get out of that realm and consider really do filmmaking.
So. The project that we first connected on was called One Michelin Star, which was a pilot concept for a series. But you've also now added feature film director to your resume with a project called Reggie and June. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I haven't finished the feature film, but first is a short film now that's going through the film festival circuit. And the goal is to create a feature film based off the short film that I've done. And Reggie and June is a story that's pretty close to me. It's about a black father named Reggie, who messes up a red egg and ginger party. It's a traditional Chinese event that's important to his Chinese American wife. My wife is a 5th generation Chinese American, and I really wanted to kind of tell our story from an authentic way. But I thought that me and my wife in real life are actually extremely cordial when we're talking about race and differences in culture and things like that. And so I said, well, for a short, I don't want to make the mistake and think that the things we're talking about is going to be crazy interesting. So I decided to up the ante, and I had 2 couples who were really at each other's throats and really arguing, and really being honest, but you could still feel the love. They weren't like crazy, but there was still so much love for each other. And it talks about that. My actual son Quentin is in the film. And it went through the film festival circuit, and it was great. But now I'm in the process of trying to make this a feature film, getting money, grants, producers. I'm doing the whole 9. So it's an interesting journey.
So, 2016, you've got, I think you mentioned one of your most popular projects was called The Idiocy of Mumble Rap.
Oh my gosh.
25 million views. Can you talk a little bit about how do you make that transition? I mean, you and I worked in that script consultancy team together, and there were a couple of other elements like that along the way. But as far as, landing those, when you have those first financing conversations, or when you have those first festival entrants, what was the journey like in terms of sort of redefining yourself as a creator?
Yeah, so it's extremely hard, and I more so mentally than actually doing the work, because you get a really quick dopamine fix when I did that video. I was really expressing my views on hip hop at the time, and when you get those views, you really get excited. You see people love your content. You see people agreeing. You see people disagreeing with you, and it starts conversations, and it gives this false feeling that you have made it to a place that's not real. When you kind of get into this influencer space, you see a video gets 25 million views and it gets millions of views, and your followers go up, and you think that you're in a place that you're actually not, and so you have to hold back from putting out content like that and going a different route and saying, if I want to be a filmmaker and be known for that, I have to put content out in a different way. So the journey going through the film festival circuit is not as filled with so much dopamine, because you have to wait for so long.
Right.
You have to wait. You submit to a project. If I'm submitting to Cinequest or I'm submitting to the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, both film festivals I went to, which are great. Mm-hmm. You wait a couple of months. You don't get that fix right. that you've got accepted. So it's a lot of patience. But the reward for going through the film festival circuit, creating a film, getting a crew together, meeting new people, for one, saying you've created a short film is also an accomplishment that more filmmakers should understand and realize that, just don't look at that and say, oh, I haven't made a feature. It's like, no, like you've created something that takes a lot of people to believe in you and say, yeah. So the journey from going through that route, through the film festival circuit, acting, auditioning, and creating my own narratives is much harder than creating a quick 2-minute video for YouTube and getting 100,000 views and being happy, but your life nothing really has changed,
So you've kind of made the rounds. You mentioned Cinequest, the Martha's Vineyard Festival. Mm-hmm. What do you see these as kind of all being very lateral events, or is the culture of each festival a little bit different? And how should, if I'm a first-time independent creator, I've got a short film in the can, how do I approach the festival circuit?
Yeah, for sure. So the easy way, first of all, is always, filmfreeway.com is a place that everyone, most people know about. It's create your account, put your headshot, get your things on there, and get your information bio, and you submit from there. But when it comes to film festivals, not just willy-nilly submitting just because it's a film festival. Reach out to programmers, especially when you have things in common with them, especially if you may be from the same place. Let's just say you meet some in different areas, like, for example, when I submitted through Cinequest, I got a chance to, I knew one of the people who have worked there a year previously. And I told him I had this short film coming out. He says, well, let's get in there and let's talk and let's see what we can do to help you get there. And then it helped me to kind of, for other people in the program team to hear it, to actually give it a chance, because thousands of people submit to film festivals. And so they were able to actually give it a true watch, and they would say, this is something that we can put in the theaters for people to come see. I would also recommend, if you have a film that if it's a culture related, race related, there's so many specific films catered to Asian American films, African American films, they're even getting Native American films. There's so many things and different diverse and cultural things like that. And then other film festivals are starting to be hip. They're either creating categories for that, or they are, and either they are continuously finding ways to put different filmmakers like that into the film festival, pretty much. So it's been a crazy journey. It's really great, but I would definitely tell filmmakers, as they go through the film festival circuit, see what you have in common with them. See the things that would actually fit with your film. If it's horror film festivals, fantasy film festivals, comedy, all these things help to make your film much more successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if we can talk about this, there's a particular financier conversation that you had at one of these, kind of a VIP. I'm curious if you can talk about that a little bit, and if you can tell us a little bit about, if somebody were to find themselves in a similar situation, how do you navigate those financing conversations, especially as a first-time creator where you can't necessarily point to a successful feature film in the past. How do you set yourself apart from maybe the other things they're considering?
Are you referring to the Martha's Vineyard one that happened there? Or?
I'm referring to a particular mayor of Sacramento.
Oh man!
Can we put that name out?
A little bit, okay. Because I don't want to put him on.
We won't put him on blast, but yeah, we'll just say thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll say thank you, and far as what he has done, he doesn't owe me anything else. But my film, it went through the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. The mayor of Sacramento, Kevin Johnson's wife, saw my film there, and she recommended it to him, and he watched the film, and then invited me out to his film festival in Sacramento. Got to know him, and he was basically like, as you get more funds, let me help you. Let me be able to help give some funds for your feature film, Reggie in June. And it was amazing because I'm like, dude, he's a former NBA player. He's a great guy. He's humble. He's nice. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like anything. It was just like a great guy who just so happens could help me out. And he offered that and said that as you get more money, let me help you so we can get this feature film, on the road. So that was a great thing. So big shouts out to Kevin Johnson. Really great guy. Shouts out to Oak Park Black Film Festival, which he invited me out to. And for filmmakers who may be in those type of situations, the best thing you can do is to, one, be genuine and to be yourself. I mean, I knew who he was, but I'm not asking this man for anything. That's not really, but my style, unless it was an event where it catered to that. But he invited me out. I'm generally happy just to show my film, and I think when you're in a situation like that, I think the best thing is to actually build relationships. I almost hate the word networking sometimes because I didn't necessarily go there to like network with the goal of filling up my cell phone list with names for the future. Meaning it was really like, I actually want to get to know people. I'm big on relationships. I'm big on people. I really, really, really love people. I want people to feel love. I want people to feel comfortable. That's kind of where I'm at. And so when meeting Kevin, I felt he was just a genuine guy. He just happened to love the film. And so I would say, be genuine with people. Don't look towards people of what you can get out of them. Generally just build friendships. And if you two are able to collab, then that's just the benefit of your friendship. And if you guys know, or guys, men or women, don't end up being friends, that's life. That's okay, And even then, depending on, you can be associates. You'd be surprised at people who will help you then, we may not be close, but they'll say, you know what, I saw your project. We met a year ago, and I just happened to talk to so and so. You know, can we have a general meeting? Can we speak on that? You'd be surprised. So keep things open, and I think you'll have more success that way.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
And so also being on set in general as a director is kind of a new experience for you. Can you talk a little bit about the processes that you have developed leading actors and kind of coordinating that entire on-set experience and any advice to new filmmakers in that direction?
Yeah, for sure. The best way to learn something is just to do it. My very first short film was called The Golden Record. We shot it in the Bahamas, and I had a best friend of mine, who directs, and he directs music videos and Burger King commercials all throughout the Bahamas. Really, really great guy. And he basically kind of showed me the ropes, and I was there, and we kind of co-directed. And then my second short film, Reggie and June, I kind of led the directing there, but I made sure that I prepped ahead of time. Preparation is so key. I spoke to Nicholas Dorsey, my DP for the project. Beforehand, I said, I want shots to look like this. We went through the shot list. We went through everything. So when we're on set, it's kind of autopilot unless we have to troubleshoot. And he kind of knows what I want. Mm-hmm. And he knows what I want. I'll still look at the screen. I'll make sure things are okay. But we have gone and do that prep. So I have to trust him. Right. I have to trust that he's going to make my vision look what it is. And he knows what he's doing. So I put my trust in him after we talked. And then on top of that, I had an acting coach who was my assistant director, Michelle Romeo Claire, who is a director and playwright in her own right, mostly theater. So this is kind of her first rodeo with on screen. But I said, you know what? I want you to be able to be with the actors as well, because I don't know it all, and I want to have a great performance since I'm acting in it. Mm-hmm. I want you to help me. So that's kind of how I approached it. And as things go on, I'll get better and better, but I'm always going to rely on the people who's close to me.
Fantastic. Yeah. What advice would you give to a director of photography out there who is engaging with a first or second time director? You know, what are the elements that they can do or explain that can really, really help you in those moments on set when you're kind of in that journeyman stage?
Yeah. No, for sure. That's a really good question. I would definitely say the simple, regular human things are top priority. Please be kind, because people, you were where they were at one point, and being kind and humble, not arrogant, being like, well, you don't know this, and it's like, well, that's why you're here. I want to ask you. I want you to help me, and no matter what's at stake. If it's the film, you guys are doing a film and they don't know anything, like, help them, be with them on this journey. You never know. There's a saying they say in Hollywood. They say, be kind to everyone. That intern, that assistant could be the executive that you'll need to speak to in a couple years.
I've been here long enough to see it happen. Yeah.
So it's like, you never know where people are going to be in life. So be kind for one. And then as they're on this journey with them, if they are humble as well, show them the ropes of what it takes and of what to do. And after that experience, they're only going to be better because they're going to remember everything that happened. Right. And my friend Kyle, when he was with me on the journey, he simply guided me through it, and he kind of let me do my thing, very guerrilla style filmmaking. It was my first one. We just want to get it done. Right. And that's probably what I would recommend.
So this has been an interesting time period to be taking this journey, starting in 2016 when you were mostly doing viral video. Obviously, between 2016 and 2023, there has been a lot of social conversation and things like that. Reggie and June, like you mentioned, really leans into those types of conversations about race dynamics and things like that. One Michelin star kind of deals with it as a subtext. Yeah. Have you seen any sort of wind changes in the festival circuit, or is it easier? Is it more challenging to have these conversations? Are audiences for these conversations in multiple places or in particular places? If I'm a writer who is kind of trying to take that same journey where my script deals with these types of themes, any particular advice or guidance for somebody in that position?
Yeah. The best thing to do, the festival circuit, they're definitely more open than ever before than I've seen, even just from seeing the films that have been selected. They're definitely more open, and people are listening a little more, and they're considering other directors and people of color to have their stories told. But I would also recommend for filmmakers to, in Reggie and June, it has the potential throughout the whole thing to be extremely tense.
Mm-hmm.
But for a brief moment, I give the audience just a small break in levity with the father of Reggie, where he kind of, teases Reggie and makes fun of him of what's happening. And I would say that if you're talking about these tense things, especially you never know who's in the audience, I would definitely say lighten the mood like a tinge,
Mm-hmm.
like a tinge. Unless it's that type of film, I don't want to tell you how to create your film, but it's my recommendation because it's not my film is far from a comedy; it's a drama. But there's a way of doing a funny moment in the way that just eases people up a little bit, because you want people to actually listen.
Right.
You actually want people to hear your point of view, hear your perspective, and so with me talking about what it's like to be Black in America, and then the actress Grace Chan, she plays June. She talks about what it means to her to be Chinese American. Both of those stories I think are really unique. I love that the fact they can come together and talk about those things, and I'm excited to do it some more with that. Yeah. So.
And you've got one other project that you're working on right now that deals with substance abuse and addiction. Lunge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Lunge is definitely I won't say back burner, but it's more like I have one Michelin star in Reggie and June, the featured more so priority. But Lunge, definitely dealing with it's about an Olympic star who really gets a lot of his strength from, his addiction. I don't want to give too much away. Yeah. And how
performance enhancing drug.
So yeah, sort of. And it's, well, I'll say it's definitely illegal in the Olympics. I'm trying not to give the story too much away over here, but but it definitely helps him. But you see his journey from getting off of that and showing that he's actually great without it. Mm-hmm. He's simply, great without it. And then, my research looking for different fencers and how to show this guy's skill level and who he is has been really, really, really fun. It deals with family. It deals with, it obviously is going to deal with the sport of fencing. I want to show the sport of fencing in such a cool way. That's going to be amazing. And I'm really taking a lot of inspiration from the television show Euphoria.
Okay.
I love how they do cinematography there. Very dreamlike, very surreal,
Mm-hmm.
Type of shots. So yeah, I hope people will really like that as soon as I get to it.
Fencing, obviously a very fast-paced sport. Are you looking at ideas of slow down time-lapse type photography and things like that to execute on some of those scenes?
Oh, you know it.
Okay.
You know it. Yeah, definitely going to have to get some slow-mo in there. It's going to be unnecessarily epic.
Okay.
in a lot of the scenes. I'm very big on close-ups. That's definitely one of my styles. I learned that from Reed Morano. She's one of my favorite cinematographers and directors. And Reed Morano was on she did episodes on The Handmaid's Tale. And learning from her, just watching her, it really dictated how I shoot film. And really getting up close and personal with the protagonist and the antagonist, and not feeling like the antagonist isn't a person. Like, no, they deserve their shine too, because they are a human that we may happen to disagree with, but they think they're in the right.
Right.
And in a sense, you may find some things you may agree with an antagonist, depending on who it is.
If it's a good antagonist, I think that's very true. At least for me, when I watch a superhero movie, for sure, I more often than not find myself putting myself in the role of the heavy, of the bad guy. Just, I don't know, it seems more fun or more relatable. I don't know. But that's definitely true, I think. Yeah. So you've done a few more film festival scenes, South by Southwest, Merlin, Tribeca. Do you have any thoughts as far as, strategic approach for creators? Is it good to try and lock in a premiere of your film at a specific spot? Is it better to just try and get out into as many venues as you can? What do you, when you're at that stage, how do you approach circulating your release.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And it's funny. I even though I didn't get into those specific film festivals you said, but submitting to those are important. You got to shoot your big shots like South by Southwest, Tribeca, things like that. But the Academy World Qualifying Festivals I did get into is extremely helpful with that. And definitely, as you're looking for your festival and where you should go, I tell people all the time, you go where you're wanted. Go where you are, go where you're wanted. Don't feel uppity or more or better than the festival because they're showing you an audience. They're giving you an audience. It's free. People are watching your film. You never know who's there. So I would say, once again, not like willy-nilly share it to whoever, but it's definitely strategic in the sense of where do you want to be? Like, I'm from Maryland. I want a film festival in Maryland because I have a lot of friends and family who live in Maryland. So it'd be really nice if I can pack out the theater and that film festival will remember you and they know other programmers and they may recommend you to another film festival. Like this one filmmaker, he got like 70 people in the audience, right. So it's good to be strategic in that way and to save your asks for your family. If you're in California, you got into 3 film festivals in Cali, maybe invite them to one,
right?
So they can pack that out, and then you can tell them about the other ones. But the most important one, have them pack that out. You get into the San Francisco International Film Festival or something like that, and you live in SF, then wait, and then tell them about that and pack that thing out so programmers remember you, and they'll, that's another strategy.
And the reason you're joining us in LA this week, you've actually taken another step in your career with a fantastic team at Macro Studios. As much as you can mention, what's it been like having that work experience with them? And I'm kind of curious, how do you, follow through with your work with that team while at the same time, respectfully introducing your projects and trying to continue those networking approaches as you continue to elevate your own work as well?
Yeah. So, I have the opportunity, maybe in a few weeks or months to possibly pitch something, but I generally just love Macro so much. So I'm literally just a kid in a candy store. I'm just happy to be there. I'm literally just smiling and just walking around, doing some, I'm doing film coverage right now for them. I'm just getting in the door, and really, really great people, really getting to know and meet some of the executives. Even, one of the finance guys, a great guy, and everyone points to him and says, he's the one to keeps this place afloat because you need money,
right?
To be able to make these projects and budgeting and all these different types of things. But it's been really cool being there. So every week, I travel from the Bay and come to LA to be able to work there a few days and come back, and we'll see how the relationship go.
Well, they're a fantastic team. Judas and the Black Messiah was one of my favorite films when it came out. I think that is just so incredibly poignant, and at least, for somebody who was born in 1986, it seems like it's pretty accurate. I would have to ask somebody a few years older than me if that's really the case, but yeah, for me, it was very, very impactful. So yeah, that's the run of it. You can check out Brandon's social media handles at That's How It Be Doe, DOE. Where else can we find your work right now, Brandon?
Yeah, so at the moment, everything is so much under wraps, but Reggie and June, the short film, will be public this year. So I have to find a date for that soon. But I want to be able to make it out to the public because it's been exclusively for film festivals and programmers that, they put their password to be able to check it out and watch it. But very soon, I would love to share Reggie and June with everyone, and I'll put it on different platforms and I'll submit it out. But as of right now, if you want a good laugh, you want to check out my YouTube channel, the things I've did in the past, you can go to my YouTube. It's the same thing. That's How It Be DOE or B-DOE. Pretty much, but please be on the lookout, and please, if you follow me, if you're on Instagram, give me a follow, as I'm going to be putting out more projects, and hopefully you'll enjoy them.
Yeah, and if you're interested in taking part in financing, I guess have your people call Kevin Johnson's people or reach out to Brandon directly.
Yeah, call me. Yeah, please give me a call. I will happily accept anything.
Wonderful. Well, Brandon, we are so pleased to have you as part of the Cinevo community. We're super excited to see the trajectory of your career.
Thank you, brother.
Clearly, it's going in a great direction. So thank you for joining us today. To all of our listeners, again, be sure to check out our social media, cinevo.com, and check out our social on Instagram and TikTok as well. Our grant contest is open until July 1st to any filmmaker in the continental United States. We want to see what you create as well. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today, and we will see you next time.